hear ye. Everyone please rise and remain silent for the processional of judges.
The Honorable Lisa T. Munyon. The Honorable Emerson R. Thompson, Jr. The Honorable F. Rand Wallace. The Honorable Robert J. Egan. The Honorable Michael Murphy. The Honorable Margaret H. Schreiber. The Honorable John E. Jordan. The Honorable Wayne C. Wooten. The Honorable Leticia Marquez. The Honorable A. James Craner. The Honorable Diana M. Tennis. The Honorable Kevin B. Weiss. The Honorable Patricia L. Strobridge. The Honorable Denise Kim Beamer. The Honorable Michaela Nix Walker. The Honorable Christy C. Collins. The Honorable Gisela T. Laurent. The Honorable Michael J. Snur. The Honorable Michael S. Dean. The Honorable Craig A. McCarthy. The Honorable Faye L. Allen. The Honorable Steve Jewett. The Honorable Jeanette Jejers Bigney. The Honorable Andrew L. Cameron. The Honorable Tina Caraballo. The Honorable Evelyn Jewett. The Honorable Eric H. Dubois. The Honorable Andrew A. Bain. The Honorable Brian S. Sandor. The Honorable Doug Walker. The Honorable Dorothy Russell. And Magistrate Sarah Chalkley.
This proceeding is for the investiture of the Honorable Alison Kerestes as Judge of the Circuit Court and the Honorable Amanda S. Bova as Judge of the County Court. Please come to order. The Honorable Lisa T. Munyon, Chief Judge, Ninth Judicial Circuit presiding. All persons having business before the court draw near, give attention, and you will be heard. May God save the United States of America, the state of Florida, and this honorable court. The Pledge of Allegiance will also be led by Sophia Bova, George Carestis, Mason Kendrick, Abigail Kendrick, David Kendrick, and Sophie Kimes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Didn't want to give me a high five. The invocation will now be given by the Very Reverend Miguel Gonzalez, Rector of St. James Catholic Cathedral, Orlando, Florida.
We place ourselves in God's presence as we pray. Most caring and gentle Lord, you are the God of peace and justice. This afternoon we pray in thanksgiving for the Honorable Alison Kerestes and the Honorable Amanda S. Bova as they prepare to exercise their responsibility of overseeing the legal process in our court system in union with the other judges that take part of this body. May they be enabled by your powerful protection to discharge their entrusted duties with honesty, relying always on your divine wisdom in pursuit of truth and fairness. This prayer we make in your most sweet and holy name, for you live and reign forever and ever. Amen.
Please be seated.
I'm a little shorter than Major Enzueto, so I'm going to have to pull this down a little bit. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you here today for the investitures of Alison Kerestes and Amanda Bova. Before we get started with the festivities, I want to thank all of our elected officials and our honored guests that are here today. Major Robert Enzueto, you've already met. He is here on behalf of Orange County Sheriff John Mina. Thank you, Major Enzueto. Dan Weister, Director of Communications and Public Affairs, is here on behalf of the Honorable Tiffany Moore Russell, Clerk of the Circuit and County Courts of Orange County. Thank you, Mr. Weister. Christopher Mack, the General Counsel, is here on behalf of Osceola County Clerk of the Circuit Court and County Comptroller Kelvin Soto. Thank you, Mr. Mack. Gary Barrios, the Multicultural Outreach Director, is here on behalf of U.S. Senator Rick Scott. Thank you for joining us. Retired Circuit Judge of the Ninth Circuit, Bob LeBlanc, is with us. Thank you for joining us, Judge LeBlanc. Retired Circuit Judge Julie O'Kane is here with us. Thank you for joining us, Judge O'Kane. And retired County Court Judge Thomas Kirkland is here. Thank you for joining us, Judge Kirkland. And on behalf of the Osceola County Sheriff, Marcos Lopez, we have Captain James Spain. Thank you for joining us. And I believe here we have a couple of guests from the Judicial Nominating Commission for the Ninth Circuit, Tim Schulte and Tara Tidrow. Thank you for coming this afternoon. Did I miss anybody? And don't ask me to identify you with those bright lights. I don't see anyone else. Thank you. Investitures are always such momentous occasions. In this digital age, defined by speed and innovation, the long-held tradition of the investiture ceremony still stands out. And don't be fooled into thinking that it stands out as antiquated or dated. No, it stands out precisely because it is steeped in tradition, because its formality and etiquette speak to both the tremendous undertaking of stepping into the role of judge and the tremendous effort it took to arrive here. Because, as the American novelist Henry James noted, it takes an endless amount of history to make even a little tradition. And today's investiture, its traditions, carries with it the entire history of the judicial branch, a history that elevates this moment into something beyond a simple act of conferring a role or a title that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Today, as in every investiture that came before, Alison and Amanda will take the oath of office, and then they'll don their judicial robes. And starting here from this moment, the full history of every judge that has come before him will be on display. They will begin the next chapter as new judges, serving with all of the hope and possibility that are the promise of new beginnings. So please join me in honoring Alison Kerestes and Amanda Bova on this momentous occasion of their investiture and welcoming them to the bench. This is the time in the investiture ceremony where they get all the gifts. And so we will start first with the Honorable Margaret Schreiber. She is here on behalf of the Conference of Circuit Court Judges to make a presentation to Judge Carestis.
Good afternoon. Isn't this a great occasion to bring us together to celebrate? On behalf of the Florida Conference of Circuit Court Judges, I want to congratulate both of you on this momentous occasion. Judge Carestis, as a circuit judge, you are now also a member of the Florida Conference of Circuit Judges. And as a new member, I want to encourage you to join a committee and get involved in the conference. It really is rewarding work. Judge Calderon is your representative for the 6th DCA, but unfortunately could not join us today. So I am honored both as his designee today and as your mentor, Judge Carestis, to present you with this nameplate. It has your title, your name, and the date of your commissioned January 3, 2023, presented by the Florida Conference of Circuit Judges, Circuit Judge Alison Kerestes. If you notice, the nameplate is made of wood and brass, not gold and marble. This is to symbolize that you are a servant of the people. We hope that this nameplate will serve as a fond reminder of this date and of the oath of office that you have taken. And finally, on behalf of the conference, we welcome you to the circuit bench and wish you a long and prestigious career as a jurist. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Schreiber. Next, we will hear from the Honorable Andrew Cameron, who will make a presentation to Judge Bova on behalf of the Conference of County Judges. Judge Cameron.
Yes, Judge Dubois, you're correct. She did set the bar really high. Good afternoon. I just love being a judge, and one of my favorite things about being a judge is this job as a representative of the Ninth Circuit to the Conference of County Court Judges of Florida. In a few moments, I'm going to have the same opportunity that Judge Schreiber did to present the nameplate. When I tell people that I'm on my way to an investiture, oftentimes the question is, and many of you may wonder, although Judge Munyon did an outstanding job explaining what an investiture is and what the history is, but I always tell people that an investiture is like a bar mitzvah for judges. For those of you that aren't Jewish and didn't grow up in Fort Lauderdale, a bar mitzvah is a coming of age, a growth. People from Fort Lauderdale got that joke. It's a recognition of achievement. It is the transition from being just a lawyer to being a judge. This is one of my favorite things to do. As Judge Munyon indicated, there will be gifts, but the first gift, I was invested just 1 week shy of 11 years ago, and to this day, this is the gift that I love the most. So on behalf of I have to remember the words, Conference of County Court Judges of Florida, the Conference of County Court Judges of Florida. Amanda Bova, Judge Bova, I want to present to you this nameplate and enjoy it on your bench so that people know who you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Cameron. And I agree, that is still one of the things I treasure most is my name plaque from the conference. Next, we will hear from Dane Weister, the Director of Communications and Public Affairs for Orange County Clerk of Court Tiffany Moore Russell. The clerk's office has been providing gifts like this to the judiciary since before I was a judge, and that was a long time ago. So I want to thank them for supporting the judiciary for so long. Mr. Weister.
Thank you, Chief Judge. So yes, I come bearing gifts as well. And as the Chief Judge says, this has been a long-standing tradition of the Orange County Clerk of Courts. So I'm honored to be here on behalf of our Orange County Clerk of Courts, Tiffany Moore Russell, who could not attend today, but she sends her best to you all. So our office works closely with the judiciary, of course, inside the courtroom, outside of the courtroom. And so this long-standing tradition is the framed commissions. So we provide these framed commissions to you. as a token of appreciation for that partnership. And we value that relationship of everything you'll be doing in the court and outside of the court as we work with you, all of our staff from the clerk's office. So please know that we stand ready to assist you in any way. So feel free to contact Clerk Russell, myself, and our staff for any needs that you have, and we'll get these to your offices. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weister. Next, we will hear from Christopher Mack. He is the General Counsel to Osceola County Clerk of the Circuit Court and County Comptroller, the Honorable Kelvin Soto. Mr. Mack.
Good afternoon, Chief Judge, judges, friends, colleagues, family members, everyone else. I'm very proud to have been asked by Clerk Soto to be here to congratulate these judges ascending to the bench. Clerk Soto would like you to please accept this gift of this book. It's perhaps the greatest novel of the 20th century. This book is probably familiar to all of you, since it's the same speech I give every time. But this book is required reading in many, if not all, of our great institutions of learning. Its storyline, theme, characters have inspired Clerk Soto's commitment to excellence, and he hopes you'll benefit from it as well. On behalf of Clerk Kelvin Soto, I present to you Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. The clerk wishes you many years to come of success. And so I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. Next, the real massive amount of gifts. You will not see these here in front of you because there are so many. They will be delivered to your chambers. We will next hear from Karen Persis. She is the president of the Orange County Bar Association, and she is going to make presentations on behalf of not only the Orange County Bar Associations, but the many voluntary bar associations in our community. Ms. Persis.
Okay, now is the chance for me to get to be Bob Barker and tell you what you've won. I am Karen Carestis. I'm president of the Orange County Bar Association, and up until last year, we gave a paperweight to judges that have been electronically filing for many years. So my first act as president was to change that, but what to get you all have so much. So I got on my horse and buggy and I brought myself into the 21st century, and we are now gifting you with a mobile office computer laptop sleeve, which can fit most tablets and laptops, and also, if you really require it, some paper. The American Board of Trial Advocates, Central Florida chapter, James Powers, president. They are providing a black marble desk wedge engraved with the judge's name and motto, professionalism and civility, anything less will not be tolerated. The Caribbean Bar Association, Central Florida chapter, Wayne Golding, president, is providing a Caribbean gift basket. Central Florida Association for Women Lawyers, Lauren Milkerick, president, custom stationery with the judge's name in raised ink. So I guess you could put that in your laptop sleeve. The Central Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, Michelle Yard, president, book The U.S. Constitution and Other Writings. The Central Florida Family Law Inn of Court, Honorable Diana Tennis, president. Judge Tennis has delivered, and I'm reading this exactly as it's written, 2 gorgeously etched and personalized coffee and wine vessels of the highest quality insulated materials. Now, I'm on this board, okay? I stepped away to go to the bathroom. I come back, there's 25 emails on what we're gonna call this cup. So apparently vessels won, but some other options were, and I'm not making this up, tumbler, Yeti, beverageware, goblet, steel mug, decanter, pony, and tankard. So I guess with those options, vessel won out. Good to know. Okay. Central Florida Gay and Lesbian Law Association, Armand Cortalesso, Board of Directors. a book, Reading Law, The Interpretation of Legal Texts by Scalia and Gardner. Central Florida Trial Lawyers Association, James Gordon, President, an exquisitely framed fine art Bill of Rights document personalized with engraved plate, one of the greatest documents ever penned in human history. Christian Legal Society, Central Florida Chapter, A.J. Fowinkle, President. Book Amazing Grace, William Wilberforce and the Heroic Campaign to End Slavery by Eric Metaxas. The Community Legal Services of Mid-Florida, Jeffrey Hussey, Director of Public Interest and Litigation, Portrait of Lady Justice. George C. Young, American Inn of Court, Honorable Eric Dubois, President. A plaque commemorating your investiture to be presented at the March dinner meeting. So you're gonna have to work for that one. You gotta go to the meeting, probably try to make you join, sponsors and stuff, I don't know, but so it's a good hook there. All right. The Greater Orlando Asian American Bar Association, Kathleen Winter, President, framed Chinese calligraphy of the judges' names. Have we ever checked to make sure that's what it actually says? All right. Hispanic Bar Association of Central Florida, Anna Lopez, President, an engraved domino set. Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar Association, Jay Small, President, the personalized robe hanger. Osceola County Bar Association, Alex Johnson, President, an Osceola County history book and a framed photograph of the historic Osceola County Courthouse. Paul C. Perkins Bar Association, Ashley Wright, President, a Google Home Mini. Professionalism Committee of the Orange County Bar Association, Patrick Delaney, Chair, an engraved plaque that reads "Professionalism Demands Courtesy," and the Young Lawyer Section of the Orange County Bar Association, Stephanie Alcalde, President, a clock with a custom inscription. Congratulations to everybody, and I hope you get all your things. I gave you the names of all the presidents, so if you don't get your item, don't contact me, contact them. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Karen. Now to the main event. It is my pleasure at this time to introduce to you the participants in the investiture of the Honorable Alison Kerestes. She got brave. She will be introduced by her husband, Stephen. You are far braver than I am. Along with, then after she is introduced by her husband, the Honorable Mike Murphy will administer the oath of office. And then Steve Carestis, along with Judge Carestis' mother, Dr. Nina Hare, will participate in the enrobing. And then we'll hear remarks from Judge Carestis. So please join me in welcoming Steve Carestis to the lectern.
You know what I forgot? I'm sorry, I seem to have forgotten the PowerPoint. You don't know what I'm talking about, just ask around. I'm glad I got a laugh. So thank you all for coming here today. Good evening. While preparing for this, I found this fun quote from antiquity. The office will reveal the man, or in this case, of course, the woman. If that is true, we will have to wait and see just who is revealed. What I can say is a little bit about who Alison is and where she comes from. Alison was born to John and Nina Hare, who met as kids while growing up in Iowa. Her mother, Dr. Nina Hare, retired just last year after 45 years in medicine. Alison was influenced by her mother, of course, so how about a couple of stories? The first story, the tale of two labors. She doesn't know I'm doing this. I didn't let her read this beforehand. For 6 years, Dr. Nina Hare was the only doctor in a small town in Sigourney, Iowa. While 9 months pregnant with Alison's younger sister, Andrea, who's also here, Dr. Hare was called to the hospital to deliver another woman's child. Now, in the midst of that delivery, she went into labor herself. She managed to deliver her patient's baby, and she was rushed to a nearby town where another doctor was available to deliver her own child, making it with just 30 minutes to spare. Now, after her mother delivered Allison's sister, she was asked by a reporter if they could write about the story. And if you know Allison, you can guess what she said. No, thank you. Some of you may recall from from the campaign, Allison describing herself once as the least attention-seeking person in the room, and you can see where she got it from. One more story about mom. Every child goes to work with their parent at least at one point in their life. So it was that Allison learned at a young age that she did not want to follow in her mother's footsteps, just wasn't meant to be. When she was quite young, she was with her mother and watched her mother stitch someone back together after the man was injured in a farming accident, of course, in Iowa. John Hare, Allison's father, and of course, Allison shares characteristics with her father as well. John has had multiple careers like Allison. He's incredibly energetic. He's always active and a very hardworking individual. And what Allison remembers most fondly about her father is how playful and fun he was. And of course, that is what our son enjoys most about his mother. Allison and her family moved from Iowa when she was about 11 years old. She moved to Ocala. She went to undergrad at the University of South Florida. Her first serious job was in customer service, working for Circuit City. And after 6 years there, she realized that it was not the final career for her, and that was probably a good choice. I heard Judge Denise Beamer one time describe being a judge as customer service in nature, so I'm sure that bears well for Allison. Allison went to law school at FSU, was in the same class with her close friend, Judge Amanda Bova. They graduated together in 2006. Allison's first job was at the state attorney's office, and she was a part of the incoming class of 2006. That 2006 was a pretty good one. We have now Justice Jamie Grosshans that was a part of that 2006 class. Judge Carly Wish was a part of that class. Lisa Gong, who is here. Ryan Williams, Tommy Fighter, who was here as well, were all a part of that 2006 class. So it was a pretty good one. Allison had some courtroom romance. She met her husband in court after spending a full day of court with me, we went on our first date that evening, and we were married about a year later. Our son George is having a very good time. Was born while we were both still at the state attorney's office. And if there was one treat during the campaign, it was when Allison and George and myself, we were out walking around dropping off flyers on doorknobs and whatnot, and people would come up to George because he's just so adorable. He's telling me to stop, but I will not. When people would come up to him and talk to him, and he would say, "My mom is running for circuit judge." It was pretty darn adorable. That was about all he could manage to say, but that was, like I said, it was pretty adorable to see. And right now it's pretty fun too. So in closing, a few words on justice. Written outside this room in stone, just outside those doors, written up there in the dome, is all virtue is summed up in dealing justly. Or in another translation, it's written, justice is the whole of virtue. And Aristotle went on to define justice as that which is both lawful and fair. And folks in Rome, a little bit more recent than that, in the middle of the 20th century, wrote this: peace is a work of justice. It is the product of order, the order implanted in human society by its divine founder. Without further ado, I present the Honorable Alison Kerestes, who we pray will never tire of that noble pursuit of justice. My fault.
Mom, you can come up.
All right, now that you've raised your right hand, repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I, Alison Kerestes, do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States and of the state of Florida,
of the United States and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of Circuit Judge
the duties of Circuit Judge
of the Ninth Judicial Circuit
of the Ninth Judicial Circuit
of the state of Florida,
of the state of Florida,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Steve, I'll hold that.
I got one of each. Snaps and I've been told that planning an investiture is akin to planning a wedding. I wouldn't know because Steve and I eloped in Las Vegas. And my wedding planning consisted of making a phone call. At any rate, I want to start by thanking Helene Welch, who is charged with the task of planning investitures here at the courthouse and carries out that duty flawlessly. Elections are difficult things for many reasons. The upside, or maybe the downside, is that you learn a lot about who you are as a person. I've never been so well informed on both my strengths and my weaknesses, and I'm a better person for having gone through it. One of the most important lessons that I learned is that I never would have made it through without good friends, reminding me why I had even bothered and lifting my spirits when I needed it. To that end, there are just a few people that I'd like to thank today. Thank you to Jacob Stewart for your encouragement, for always being there with the listening ear, and introducing me to your amazing father. His sage advice helped me make many hard decisions. Thank you to Elena Baker for always being in my corner, and Chris Cagle for all of your support. Thank you to Dave Plotkin and You Should Run for all your work on my campaign. Your creativity, advice, and friendship were of invaluable benefit to me personally. Thank you to Mara Fidos for all your hard work. If you endorsed me, it's probably because Mara called and asked you to. Thank you to Blaine McChesney for your early advice and reality checks along the way. I thought of your words often and took them to heart. Thank you to Candace Griffin, one of the many friends I made on the campaign trail, for believing in me. Thank you to Joey Grimaldi for your help and being a great friend. The two of you exemplify what it means to be a Rotarian, and I'm proud to call you my friends. Thank you to my son, George, for being such a great kid. You're truly my favorite person alive. Don't tell Daddy. Thank you to God for the countless blessings you have bestowed on me and my family, and for keeping us safe and healthy. And thank you to Father Miguel Gonzalez for your 25 years of faithful service to God and leading us all in prayer today. Thank you to Sarah Krinitz, my legal assistant at Carestis Law Firm and now my judicial assistant. Your work ethic, organizational skills, and willingness to take on any challenge impress me on a daily basis, and I am so fortunate to have you on my team. Thank you to my parents for all your support. Thank you to all my and Steve's family for the love and support you've shown us both in being here today. Those who couldn't make it today are here with us in spirit, and I love you all so much. Also, a shout out to Angie, Steve's sister, for waving signs for me those last couple days when I couldn't do it. I am so convinced it is you and your purple hair that got me the win. Thank you to Julie Clark and Lori Wurtzel. Julie was my plus one so many times when I was campaigning, and Lori was a constant source of sound advice and reassurance. You're both amazing women that deserve so much happiness and success in life, and know that I am always rooting for you. Thank you to the retired state attorney, Lawson Lamar, and Chief Assistant Bill Bose for hiring me back in 2006. It changed my life, and supporting me during my campaign. Thank you to Jonathan Mills for your words of support that made such a huge impact. Thank you to David Barrett for the election night entertainment and always having my back. Thank you to everyone else who supported my campaign, who endorsed me, who shared and liked posts, put out signs, told their friends to vote for me, or even just wished me luck on election day. The election reminded me of law school, incredibly hard on the ego and just one test at the end. Every little bit of encouragement was appreciated and a reminder that people believed in me and wanted my success. Thank you to the voters of Orange and Osceola counties for placing your trust in me. I had lunch with another judge right after the election who asked me, "Who do you work for?" And I answered her, "The people." And thank goodness that's the answer she was looking for. But it's absolutely true. Judges are public servants, here to make both difficult and lawful decisions that resolve tough issues that people face. I take that role seriously, and I am so honored to be elected by my community to take on that challenge. Thank you to the wonderful judiciary and courthouse staff here in the Ninth Circuit of Florida. So many judges and colleagues have let me shadow them and have offered Sarah and I advice and materials. I am truly fortunate to be part of such a wonderful team. Finally, thank you to my wonderful husband, Steve. Anyone that knows us knows we have always spent a lot of time together, and we've had a lot of questions on how that's worked out. The truth is that it's mainly Steve. He is the most patient and kind person I've ever met. He's charitable with his time and resources, and he constantly reminds me that there is still so much good in humanity. Steve is the kind of person that always wants me around, even when I'm asking him to go spend 10 hours campaigning outside at an event in July on a Saturday for the third weekend in a row. Every single time, his answer was always, "Of course I do." And he did it without complaint. My success is truly our success. I will close by saying that I am so grateful. I am so excited that I get to do this job, and I'm so thankful to everyone who helped and the voters who elected me. I am so honored to serve all of you and all of the people of Orange and Osceola counties in this capacity, and I thank you all so much.
Thank you, Judge Kerestes. I think I've known Alison and Steve in my role as a judge and them as attorneys almost since they began practicing. I've always known Alison to be humble and a hard worker, and now I know where she gets it from. So you must be very proud, both of you. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce the participants in the investiture of the Honorable Amanda Bova. She will be introduced by Thomas Fighter. The Honorable Eric Dubois will administer the oath of office, and her husband, Michael Bova, and their daughter, Sophia, will participate in the enrobing. And then we'll hear remarks from Judge Bova. Please join me in welcoming Thomas Fighter.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to do this from my iPad and try to be a little high tech here. Hopefully it'll work out. So first, I want to start by saying that I'm very honored to stand here before you to introduce my good friend, Amanda Sampaio Bova, as our newest county court judge. My name is, again, Tom Fighter, and I've known Amanda since 2006 when we started as new lawyers. Amanda was an assistant public defender, and I was an assistant state attorney. We learned the ropes together. We even had a few trials against one another. If you can imagine that. Most of the time, that did not go well for me. I also happened to be in the same state attorney's office starting class as Judge Carestis and Steve Carestis, and that was a wonderful experience there. I'm very proud to see you guys here today as well. Judge Bova's husband, Mike, and their daughter, Sophia, are here as well. Amanda's parents, I see Charlotte and Sam, are here, and I can only imagine the depth of your love and pride in Amanda today. You are the reason we're all here today. So thank you for her. Through your love, your support, and your example, you've given us a very special talent. So thank you for her and your continued support of the judge and her career, which I pray will be long and distinguished. Can I ask Judge Bova's family to please stand for a brief moment? Mike, Sophia, Charlotte, Sam, her whole family, if you don't mind. You guys read my mind. I wanted to give them a grateful round of applause. I also wanted to recognize anyone who helped with the committee or who attended one of Amanda's many campaign events. She worked so hard on this, as did so many of you. So thank you for all that you have done. I've been fortunate to be able to work with Amanda in public service and in private practice, and I've come to know her pretty well over the years. When I had to leave my practice for over a year, she kept the lights on and the bills paid. She ran the firm. So I can tell you firsthand that she's very trustworthy and a very hardworking attorney. Amanda and I started out as colleagues at first, but then we became good friends. She came to be the sister that I never had. She attended my wedding to my wife, Erica, who's right over there. And we attended her wedding to her husband, Mike Bova, which was just a beautiful wedding. I mean, that wedding was amazing. It was like two Wi-Fi engineers got married because the reception was incredible. Wedding reception, Wi-Fi reception, Okay, well, maybe it's too early for jokes, but anyway. So we were both involved in the Orange County Bar Association, and we did various committees together. But now that we're in private practice, we tried cases together, not against each other. And some of these were very serious, high-profile media cases. So preparing, any of the trial attorneys in here would know, preparing to go to trial with somebody really gives you an opportunity to learn a lot about yourselves and see what you're made of. And I can tell you that Amanda, she really knows her stuff. She knows the law, she knows procedure, and she was a very persuasive defense attorney. Of course, now she's a judge, so she's going to have to call the balls instead of playing the game. And strikes and, what was it? Strikes and outs, whatever. Anyway, here's something a lot of people probably don't know about Amanda and me, and that is that we used to play beach volleyball competitively together. And we did that for a number of years. Amanda played in college as well. I was never quite that good, but she's a great athlete and a tough competitor. Most of the time we would win, but every once in a while we'd lose. And when we lost, I noticed something that I admired very much about her. And that was that she would go over to the winner, shake their hand, and congratulate them. So I always knew she was tough, but that really just shows what a class act that she really is. She knows that being a leader is not just about you and how you act when you win, it's how you act when you lose. Judge Bova is a good person with a kind heart, and she's a woman who's made it in a historically male-dominated profession. And as if becoming a lawyer and starting her own law practice weren't enough, she went on to become board certified in criminal trial law. And for those in the audience who are lucky enough not to be lawyers, here's what board certification means very briefly. A Florida Supreme Court justice once said, quote, "Board certification should be the capstone for a lawyer's professionalism goals. It is reliable proof of the character and commitment that sets a lawyer apart," end quote. Lawyers know how hard it is to become board certified, and the point of all this is to demonstrate the kind of person that Amanda is. Getting board certified is demonstrative of her character, her work ethic, and dedication to the practice of law. In my 16 years of practicing law, I've been to many jurisdictions, and 16 years, depending on who you are, that might seem like a short time or a long time. But in that time, I've seen a lot of different judges. I've seen varying levels of temperament, patience, knowledge of the law, and professionalism. And I can tell you here today that Judge Bova is of the highest caliber. She has experience on both sides with government practice and in private practice. and she has experience in different areas of law. She will serve honorably and well, and like Judge Carestis, at least in my opinion, they set the standard for the next generation. Both of these women are true stewards of our legal profession. With that, I will say, Amanda, Your Honor, best of luck on the bench. Stay humble and do the great things that you were meant to do. Good luck.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States and the state of Florida,
of the United States and the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of County Judge of Orange County, Florida,
the duties of County Judge of Orange County, Florida,
on which I'm about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Should have got the zipper. Oh, thank you, honey. Whew. You're not an intimidating crowd at all. Friends, family, distinguished guests, colleagues, and the judiciary, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here today to celebrate this momentous occasion for Judge Carestis and myself. This investiture is not just a robing ceremony to me, but it's a ceremony that demonstrates the transfer of power, rank, and authority that is bestowed upon us. And this is a position that carries a tremendous amount of responsibility, and it's not something that I take lightly. So I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself, how I got here, and what this role means to me. I'm truly honored to be joining the bench here in Orange County because this is where I was born and raised. This is where I started practicing law. In fact, my first trial was in front of the Honorable Judge Jewett, probably against Tommy. But everyone here has been so welcoming and so helpful. Right the day after the election, I got texts and phone calls of support from many of you. I'm so thankful to my mentor judge, Eric Dubois. I've been calling him every day. I've tried not to call on the weekends. And I'm so thankful to my judicial assistant, Raquel Owens. She's been making this transition very helpful. We've both been learning together, so I'm very grateful to have you. So I'm especially excited to share the stage today with Judge Carestis, because like Steve said, I almost called you George, but we did go to law school together, and we graduated in the same class. And I think Carrie knows that too. That's why she wore orange and blue, right? For FSU. But, you know, in law school, I don't know about Allison, but, you know, I never thought that I would be a judge. I was just honestly happy to graduate. And I wanted to do environmental law. But it was in my third year of law school that I found my passion for the courtroom and for trial advocacy. And that in turn led me to go work at the public defender's office. And I have to give a nod to Bob Wesley and Eileen Forrester for the office that they run. You know, I think that they really are supportive of their attorneys and really give their attorneys a chance to shine and to go straight into trials and to hone those skills. So I thank them for that. but after working in the public defender's office, I did go into private practice. I worked for Tommy for a while. I think he really hired me because I was a volleyball player and he needed a girl for his team. But anyways, I learned a lot from Tom. I learned how to be a businesswoman, how to run a firm, and how to promote myself. As public defenders, we don't often promote ourselves. You're in the trenches, you're worried about your clients, and they're often underappreciated. But in private practice, you have to do it. You have to sell yourself. But it was actually a conversation with Tom that made me start thinking about becoming a judge. He suggested to me, you might want to think about doing that someday. And I had never thought about that. And I really thank him for that because he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And sometimes we just need that one person who believes in us or who sees that in ourselves that we don't see. So I really thank him for that. My path to the bench wasn't always easy, as Judge Carestis knows. I mean, the campaign trail is brutal, and we both campaigned for a very long time. Allison, longer than I did. But there are a lot of ups and downs, emotionally, physically. It's physically exhausting, especially at the end. And I want to thank everyone sincerely who helped. So many of you that are here today, and not just helped by donating or being out there, but just psychologically, just being there to reassure me that this is the right path, that people want to see me on the bench. And it really helped me get over some difficulties I had with my confidence. And Heather Maglino, I mean, you're such a great friend, and you really helped with that, and all my CFAL friends. And I want to give a shout out to the DBPR too. There's a lot of you here today that allowed me to keep working there as I was campaigning. But the people that saw day in and day out, were my husband and my child Sophia. They saw all the hard work that went into this, and I thank them so much. And my dad and my husband Mike were out, digging, putting signs in the ground, digging holes, putting signs together. Someone might have hit a sprinkler line, I'm not sure, but and my mother-in-law, Rose and Paul, they were out on this, and, I don't want to say their age, but they're way too old to be out on the side of the road in the middle of July and August waving signs, but that's what you have to do. You have to get the word out. And, I really felt strongly that the community has a right to know who their choices are when they're running for a judge and what the qualifications are. And Mom, you were out there too. I think you guys kind of liked it though at the end, but everybody that helped out, I'm sure I'm missing some people, but I really appreciate it. Even my friend Allie Charles, I think she's here today. She lives in Washington, D.C., and she took the night train down to come down and wave signs during early voting and to be with me on election night. And that's just true friendship. And she used to be at the public defender's office as well. Conti Moore, everyone that, Winston Tate, anyone that hosted an event for me, thank you so much. But going back to the work that we put into it, I think no one really knows how hard it is until you do it. And there's a lot of guilt that comes with when you're a parent and you can't be there for dinner or for bedtime stories. And even now, Sophia, when, we're talking about what do you want to be when you grow up? And she'll say something. She's like, Mom, do you have to run for that? Like, no, honey. You don't have to run to be a doctor, a veterinarian, or whatever you want. But, I think what I hope that I instilled in her was that passion to go after your dreams and that work ethic. And that came from my parents. I really have to thank them for that because they never told me to go to law school. They never suggested to go to law school. That was just something I wanted to do. But the type of parents they were is, you make your own decisions. But they gave me all the tools that I needed to get there. So I thank them for that. And I hope that I did the same thing for my daughter by being a good example of hard work and passion. And being, a lot of it is the reputation that you have in the community. And I hope that the work that I did as an attorney is I think what got me here and the reputation. So So I will tell you a little story about election night, and then I'll wrap it up because I know it's been a long day and it's a Friday, and we might be off on Monday. I'm not sure, but so. So on election night, right? On election night, we had a little gathering to watch the results come in. My friends and family were there, and some of the volunteers. My husband was still out waving signs in Wedgefield. But yeah, so we expected the results to come in right around 7. Okay, so we have the TV set up, and then just before 7, I get a tug. Mommy, I have to go to the bathroom. So, okay, let's go. So I'm in the bathroom with my daughter and her friend, and then it's just like a minute before 7, and I get a text message from Heather Trick. Are you here? I don't know, she was supposed to be here, but my friend Heather Trick, she's like, congratulations. And that's how I found out I was going to be a judge. But it didn't really hit me until my husband, Mike, walked in. He was still wearing his campaign T-shirt. He was wet because it was raining and sweaty. And he didn't know what happened. And he's like, what happened? I'm like, we did it. And that's when it became real. But I will leave you with this. Recently we've lost a lot of really good attorneys that have passed. Most recently, Pam Davis from the state attorney's office. People that are really great attorneys, really genuine people. I was in cases against her, and they're going to act ethically, but we've lost a lot of people. So one thing I tell my daughter every day before, as we're getting into the car to go to school, is what are you going to do today to make today count? Every day we have is a gift. Every moment that we have is a gift, and we're never going to have these days or these moments again. So I try to make every day count, and I ask you all to do the same. What are you going to do to make today count? Thank you.
You can be seated. I think we can all see that the citizens of the Ninth Circuit are lucky that these two ladies followed their dreams. So thank you and welcome. Before we close, I'm going to ask the very Reverend Miguel Gonzalez, the rector of St. James Catholic Church, to come up for the benediction.
Once again, please join me as we pray. Most loving and gracious Lord, we thank you for allowing us to be present today and witness this most special moment in the life of these two great public servants. We ask you, Lord, that you bless them as a new day begins in their life of service and commitment to the people of our city, of our county, of our state, of our nation. May they be inspired by the outpouring of your love and grace, that they may exercise with great responsibility the duties that will be placed upon them. Bless their family as they continue to support them with their love. And we ask your blessings upon each and every one of us, that together as one family united in your love, we may continue to build a better tomorrow for the good of our society, the good of our nation, the good of our world. May the peace that only you can give bless and reign our hearts forever and ever. Amen.
And that concludes this ceremonial session of the Ninth Judicial Court. So we are now in recess. Please come up and congratulate Judges Carestis and Bova.